Hello friends, welcome to Learner's Planet. Friends, in this session I am taking doubts sent by a student. All the questions are from number system section and you are suggested, as usual I just say, whenever question appears on the screen, just pause the session, try to do the question on your own, and after that just check the solution. Okay, so this way you'll be able to improve. This question, how many natural numbers between 1 and 500 are not divisible by 7 and leave a remainder of 3 when divided by 4? Okay, the number should leave a remainder of 3 when divided by 4. That means precisely the number should be in 4x plus 3 format, right? So first of all we find out how many numbers are there in which are in 4x plus 3 format. We can start from 3, right? Then the common difference should be definitely 4. So 3, 7, then 11, 15, then 19, 23, and the sequence will go till the last number. 500 is multiple of 4, so 1 less than that, that is 499, right? So in all, these many numbers will be there which are in 4x plus 3 format. So first of all, let's find out how many numbers are there. Since this is an arithmetic progression, we can find out the number of terms in the sequence. So 3 plus n minus 1 into 4, so it is 120, 12 4s are 40. It's 196 first of all, 996, 496, I'm sorry, 496 divided by 12 is 124, so n is equal to 125. So in all, 125 numbers are there in this sequence. Okay, and out of these 125 numbers, some numbers are there which are multiple of 7, so that we need to eliminate. Okay, so first of all let's find out what are the position of the numbers which are multiple of 7. We can see number 7. After that, when we put x is equal to 1, we get the first number, that is 7. It has to be eliminated. After that, let's see, next number is 23, 27, 31, 35. It is next number. So it is first, second, third, fourth, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Second number, then ninth position. Now you don't have to find out the other terms because once again it will form an arithmetic progression. Okay. Now second term, 9th term, in all we have 125 terms, but we don't know which one is the last term, so I assume the last term is 125th term, right? So 125 is equal to 2 plus n minus 1 into 7, right? Now 125, that means this number, or we can assume that it is x, right? Not this x, I assume this to be n, do not get confused. So n minus 2 should be divisible by 7. Maximum value of n we have to find out, right? So see, 119 is multiple of 7. So if n is 121, right, n is 121, then 121 minus 2, that is 119, and that will be multiple of 7. So I put 121 over here. 121 minus 219. 119 divided by 7 is 17. So in all, 18 terms will be there in this sequence, right? Second position, 9th position, then 16th position, and so on, right? I am finding out the positions in which the numbers are multiple of 7. Second position is also multiple of 7. 9th position will also be multiple of 7. Similarly, 18th position will also be I'm sorry, this yeah. So in all, 18 positions are there which are multiple of 7. So out of this 125 terms, we need to deduct 18 terms because this 18 terms, on these 18 terms, 7 and its multiples are there. So from 125, if we deduct 18, we'll be getting 107. So in all, 107 numbers are there which are multiple of which are in 4x plus 3 format and not multiple of 7. Okay, I hope you are clear. Just go through the explanation once again if you are not clear for the first time. Now we see this problem. See, in these sort of problems there are too many variables involved, right? So what is suggested, you just assume the comfortable values of a variable, right? That would be rather better because it's really difficult to deal with variables. Too much paperwork will be involved in this case, and errors may also be there, right? Calculation errors, calculation mistakes will also be there, right? So what I do is I assume the comfortable values. So to make it easy, what I do is I assume A is equal to suppose 2, and number of operations I'll be performing is maybe 3 or maybe 2. Okay, we just go for both the options, 2 and 3 both, right? So first of all, I have the number n. Okay, number n, it is decreased by 1 upon 2 times itself. That means I am getting n by 2. Following which, it 1 by 2 is subtracted. Instead of a, I am putting 2, so 1 by 2 is subtracted, right? So it is precisely n minus 1 by 2, and this is n1. Okay, after that same operation is performed on n1. Now this is n1. On this, once again 1 upon 2 times it is decreased, so it is actually n minus 1 by 2, that is n1. See, in examination you don't have to write each and every step, just be careful about it. This is n1. Once again it is decreased by 1 upon 2 times, so I'll be getting half of this. From this I need to deduct 1 upon 2, or I can say 2 by 4, right? So it is actually n minus 3 by 4. Okay, now suppose n is equal to 2. I have performed this operation 2 times, so I'm getting n minus 3 by 4, right? Now if n this n is 0, that means n2 is equal to that means after second operation, when n is equal to 2, the value of this is 0. So if I put this as 0, I get the value of n, capital N, as 3. Right? Now what you can do, in options you just put the value of a as 2, n as 2, and see where you are getting the value or the option as 3. Now see here, a is equal to 2, so it is 2 plus 1, 3 raised to 2, that is 9 by 2. So by in fact 4, so that will not be the correct option. What we want is 3. So if a is equal to 2 raised to 2, 4 upon 2 minus 1 raised to 2, that is 1 minus 1, that is 3. So this is the correct option. Okay, one more step can be performed to verify, that is the third step. This is n2, second step, second performance. After that, the next will be n by 3, and 1 upon 8 times I do it, so it is then 1 by 2 will be deducted, so it is 4 by 8. So n minus 7 by 8, if it is 0, that is third operation, so n is equal to 7. That means if I put n is equal to 3, it is 2 cube upon 2 minus 1 cube, that is 1 minus 1, so that's 7 I'm getting. So this one is correct choice, right? So instead of playing with variables, you just choose the comfortable values of the variable and perform. Okay, this way you'll be able to do the problem in less time and less space. Now this question, if ABC are non-zero real numbers such that a square by this which of the following is necessarily true? Here if we take LCM, what we will be getting is a cube plus b cube plus c cube is equal to 3abc, right? Just look at this expression. You'll be able to recall a cube plus b cube plus c cube minus 3abc is equal to a square plus b square plus c square minus ab minus ac minus bc into a plus b plus c, right? So a cube plus b cube plus c cube minus 3abc is equal to this, right? Now a cube plus b cube plus c cube is equal to 3abc. That means this thing is 0, left hand side is 0. If left hand side is 0, that means product of these two is 0, right? Product of these two is 0. So if product of these two is 0, that means either this is 0 or this is 0. So if this is 0, a plus b plus c is equal to 0. If this is 0, then that means a square plus b square plus c square should be ab plus bc plus ac, right? So both the options are correct, either this or this. So both of them are simultaneously not correct, because in that case it will be 0 into 0. So either this is 0 or this is 0. So either A or B. Okay, pretty simple. Now this is an interesting question. Let A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J be natural numbers less than 6. If LCM of these is 6 by 5, which of the following can be the value of A by B plus C by D plus E by F, G by H and I by J? Okay, now listen to me carefully. See, LCM of fractions is what? LCM of numerators by HCF of denominators. So that is actually 6 by 5, right? Now when we have to solve this question, right, what we have to do, we have to take the LCM of the denominator. Now LCM of the denominator will be what? See, B, D, F, H, J, HCF is 5, right? That means the number can be 5 into 1, 5 into 2, something like that, right? 5 into 1, 5 into 2, 5 into 3. But it is not possible because all the numbers are less than 6. So there is single possibility that HCF of the number is 5 and all the numbers are less than 6, that all the numbers are 5. Then only it is possible. If any number is other than 5, then HCF will not be 5, because 5 is what? It's a prime number. Okay, so if it is 5, it is 2, it is 3, then HCF will not be 5. So HCF will be 5 only case when 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. But that's not possible because all the numbers are less than 6. That means B, D, F, H, J, all of them are 5. So we have 5 in the denominator. Okay, now A, C, E, G, I, we just have to add them as it is, right? Because no need to go for any cross multiplication or nothing. Now A, C, E, G, I, all of these are in the numerator and their LCM is 6. Now their LCM is 6. For that we need to have the numbers as a combination of 1, 2, 3. Okay, two numbers can be repeated, maybe 2, 3, something like that, right? But more than 3 it's not possible, because if we take 4, the LCM will not be 6. In that case the LCM will go for 12. Okay, so these are the possibilities. More ones can be there, more 3s can be there, but the numbers will be from 1 to 3. Okay, now we have to find out the value of this expression. Now if let's see whether we can get 8 or not. So if I have 2, 2, 2, 6, I cannot have 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Then fifth number will be left out. So if we have 2, 3, 3 or 3, 1, 1, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So we can get 8 in the numerator. 14. So that is 3, 3, 3, 3, that is 3, 4 times and 2. So 14 can also be achieved. For 2 we have to have the sum as 10. So that is 3, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is also possible. For 3 we need to have 15. So 15 can be achieved only we have 3 for 5 times. So if we have 3 for 5 times, that means A, C, E, G, I, all of them are 3, then we cannot have LCM as 6, because for getting LCM as 6 we need to have at least 1, 2. Okay, so that's not possible. So very logical problem, very interesting one. I hope you are clear with it, clear with the explanation. Now 3 natural numbers A, B and C are such that A square plus B square is equal to C square. If A is equal to 20, how many ordered pairs B and C are possible? Okay, A is equal to 20, that means A square is 400. So I can say C square minus B square is 400. That means C minus B into C plus B is 400. Now ABC, all of them are natural numbers. Product of C minus B and C plus B is giving us as 400. So there may be various combinations, right? I divide 400 by 2 is 200, 200, 250, 225, 5, 5 and 5, 1, right? Suppose we have one combination 16 into 25, that is 400. Now C plus B is C minus B is 16 and C plus B is 25. C should be greater than B, then only we'll be getting the positive expression. So C minus B is 16 and c plus b is 25. So if just listen to me carefully, c minus b is 16 and c plus b is 25, right? So c minus b is odd, even, and c plus b is odd. That means one of them is odd and one of them is even, right? So in that case what will happen, c and b both of them will be in fraction. Okay, so that's not possible because c and b both of them are natural numbers. So either both of them should be odd or both of them should be even, then only you'll be getting the value of c and b as non-fraction, that is natural numbers, right? So we can have the other combination, that means at least 1 2 is required. So we have 8 into 50, we have instead of 16 I take 8, then 4 into 100, then we have 2 into 200, then we have 40 into 10. We cannot have 20 into 20 because in that case this expression will be 0. So we just have 4 combinations. So c plus b will be the bigger value and c minus b will be the smaller value. So if we solve, c plus b is 50 and c minus b is 8, you'll be getting the natural numbers value or integral values of c and b. Okay. So there are 4 combinations possible for b and c. Okay. Now when a cube plus b cube plus c cube plus d cube plus e cube is divided by 7, the remainder is r. If a, b, c, d, e are positive integers and none of them is divisible by 7, what is the sum of all positive values of r? Now a, b, c, d, e, all of them are not divisible, none of them is divisible by 7. So that means the number should be in format of 7x plus 1, or I just take x, 7x plus 1 whole cube plus 7y plus 2 whole cube plus 7z plus 3 whole cube plus 7 maybe p plus 4 whole cube. That means the number should be in format of 7x plus 1, 7x plus 2, 7x plus 3, 7x plus 4, right? Multiple of 7 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. We have one more choice, that is 7r plus 6 whole cube, but since we have 5 numbers, I am just taking these 5. Now what is happening, just listen to me carefully. If all the numbers are maybe in 7x plus 1 whole cube, that means we can get the remainder as 5, right? Because if we divide all the numbers which are in 7x plus 1 whole cube, the remainder will be 1 cube, that is 1. Right? If we have all the numbers in 7x plus 2 format, then 7x plus 2, that means the remainder will be 2 cube, that means 8, that means the final remainder will be 1. So in that case also we'll be getting 5 as remainder. Okay. As 3 cube, if we can get 3 cube is 27, then we can get the remainder as 6. Okay. So we can, if we divide these expression, we can get various remainders. There may be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, right? All these remainders we can get. So what is the sum of all these remainder? That is 6. From 1 to 6, the sum will be 6 into 7 by 2, that is 21. So we can get the remainder, the sum of remainders as 21. So precisely this is just for understanding, you don't have to write. Right? The expression, if it is divided by 7, all the remainders will be less than 7 and you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all of them. Okay. So if all remainders are possible, that means sum of all possible remainders will be 21. One more interesting question we have. Let xyz, yxz, yzx, zyx be 4 distinct 3-digit numbers such that this is 1/5 of this. What is the number of possible values of x, y, z? Now listen to me carefully. Any 3-digit number, suppose this, if we talk about yxz, it can be written as 100y plus 10x plus z, right? And this is 100y plus 10z plus x. So if I deduct this number from this number, what I'll be getting? It is 10x plus z and it is 10z plus x. So I'll be getting 9x minus z. Okay. And that is actually 1/5 of, it is 100x plus 10y plus z minus 100y 10x and z. Z and z will be cancelled. I can take 100 as common. I'm sorry, 100x minus 10x. This is 100x and minus 10x, so it is 90x minus, it is 10y minus 100y, so it is 90y. Okay, so it is 18, so it is 2. So x minus z is equal to 2x minus y, or I can say y, if I take this side, I'm sorry, 2x minus 2y, 2x minus 2y. Okay, so 2y is equal to x plus z. That means x, y, z, these are in arithmetic progression. Okay, now arithmetic progression, the common difference can be 1. So it is 1, 2, 3. The last number can be 7 only, because 7, 8, 9. So we have common difference 1, then we have 7 values. Then we have common differences 2. So 2, the last should be here 9, 7, and here it should be 5. So we have 5 values. 7 and then 5. Similarly for d is equal to 3, the last is 9, then 6, and then 3. So we have 3 values. Then the last is 1. So 7, 5, 7 plus 5, 12, and 3, 15, and 1, 16 values are there when x, y, z are in AP. Okay, but we'll double it, because 3, 6 is 9, 3, 6, 9, that is x, y, as z, and 9, 6, 3 is also possible. Okay, the value of x is 3 can be there and 9 can be there. So in all, double values will be there. X, y, z are in arithmetic progression, may or may not be, it is an increasing AP. Okay, so total we have 32 values possible for x, y, z. Okay, I hope you are clear with the explanation. It's really interesting problem, really an interesting problem and interesting concept as well. Okay, so do revise it once again if you are not clear for the first time. From the set of first 10 natural numbers, A picks up some numbers and calculates their product to be t. The product of the remaining numbers in the set is equal to s. If t is completely divisible by s, the minimum value of t by s is. Okay, precisely t by is an integral value. Okay, because t is completely divisible by s, and we have to find out the minimum values of s. So what we can do is, out of 10 numbers, we start filling the denominator. Okay, so if I have the biggest number is 10, so if I put 10 in the numerator, I should have something in the if I put 10 in the denominator, I'm sorry, I should have something in the numerator which will be multiple of 10. So I can have 2 into 5. Now 10 and 10 is cancelled. Okay, so next is 9. If I put 9 in the denominator, something should be there which is multiple of 9. So I just have one choice, that is 3 into 6. Okay, because all the numbers should be distinct. Then if I take 8, so this is 10, this is 6 into 3, 18. We want 9 only, so we have a 2 extra over here. Then from this 2, and if I take 4, 8 will be cancelled out. Okay, so next is 7. I cannot put it over here because I don't have any number which will be multiple of 7. So 7 anyways I have to put in the numerator. Then 6 already is there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That really doesn't matter whether you put it in a numerator or denominator. So if you divide this expression by this expression, everything will be cancelled except 7. So minimum value of t by s will be nothing but 7. Okay, I hope you are clear. In a certain colony, the number of people who drink only tea, only coffee, both tea and coffee, and neither tea nor coffee are this respectively. The number of people who drink tea. Okay, if we draw a Venn diagram, this is tea, this is coffee. So tea circle will be what? Only tea, that is this portion, plus this portion, that is tea and coffee. Okay, so we have to find out the number of people who drink tea. That will be only tea, that is x, plus tea and coffee. So both tea and coffee is 111 by x. So these are the total number of people who drink tea. Okay, now this is the total number of people. That means 111 should be, I'm sorry, x should be factor of 111. Now 111 is actually 3 into 37. So x should be either 3 or 37. Okay, or I can say 1. Okay, x should be either 1 or 3 or 37 or 111. Okay, so these are the 4 possible values of x, because x has to be factor of 111. So if I take x is 3, so 111 by 3, that is 37 plus 3, 40 can be one of the answer. Okay, if I take x as 37, then 37 plus 111 by 37, that is 37 plus 3, once again we are getting 40. If x is 111, then 111 plus 112 can be one of the answer, but people can be, so we already got 40, so that will be the correct option. So it's a pretty simple problem. 50 minus n upon n plus 2 is the square of a natural number. The number of positive integral values that n can assume is. Okay, now it is a perfect square number, right? So I assume 50 minus n upon n plus 2 is equal to a square. So 50 minus n is equal to na square plus 2a square. So n is equal to 2 a square minus 25 upon n, I'm sorry, it is 25 minus a square. 25 minus a square, I take this side, so it in this side na square plus n, that means it is a square plus 1. So n is this. Okay, now it is 2 into 5 minus a, 5 plus a upon a square plus 1. Now just look at the expression carefully. N is a positive integer, right? We have to find out the positive integral values for n. That means a should not be greater than 5. Even a should not be 5, because we need to find out the positive value. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 options only for a. Right? Now if a is 1, 1 plus 1, 2 and 2, that will be cancelled, that will be getting the value of n as integral value, right? If a is equal to 2, then it is in the denominator it is 3 and 5 minus 2, it's 3 and 5 plus 2, it is 7. And in the denominator 2 square plus 1, that is 5, right? So we will not be able to get the integral value. Similarly for 3 and 4, we can check 2 into a is 3, so it is 2 and 5. Even for 3 it is 3 square plus 1, that is 10. So we cannot get 10 in the numerator, because we have 2, we cannot get 5, right? So that's not there. 4, 16 plus 1, 17, that's not at all possible. So only possible value of a which will be accepted as 1. So for single value of a, will be able to get the single value of n, right? So that is this answer. N10 represents a number n written in base 10. If N10 is equal to a3, where a is a single digit number, then n must be. Okay, so if this number is written in base 3, if we wish to convert this number into base 10, what we will write? It is a into 3 raised to 0, 3 raised to 1, 3 raised to 2. So it is 9 plus a into 3 plus a into 3 raised to 0, and that is actually n. So n is equal to 9 and 3, 12 and 1, 13a, right? So that means n must be a multiple of 13. Okay, simple. The number of consecutive zeros at the end of k factorial, where k is a natural number, is a, where a is greater than 4 and less than equal to 6, then the number of values that k assumes. See a, that means it is either 5 or 6. That means there should be 5 zeros, consecutive zeros, or 6 consecutive zeros, right? If we want 5 consecutive zeros, that means we have to have the power of 5 as 5. Okay, and if we wish to have 6 consecutive zeros, then power of 5 should be 6, because with 1, 2 and 5 combination we get 1 0, right? Now so I just check whether I'll be able to get 5 raised to 5 if it is in 25 factorial. 20 factorial, then whether I'll be able to get 5. It's 4 only. No, 25 by 5, that's 5, and 5 by 5, that's 1. Okay, so precisely I'm not able to get 5 zeros, right? What I'll be getting is just 6 zeros, right? Because 5 we are not getting. If I divide 24 by 5, then I'll be getting 4 over here, and further division will not be possible. So either I'll be getting 4 zeros or 6 zeros, not 5 zeros. So let's see how many numbers will have 5 zeros, or how many factorials will have 5 zeros at their end, right? So first of all, we have 25, then we have 26, 27, 28, and 29. When we reach 30, we'll be getting 6. 30 by 5 is 6, and 6 by 5 is 1. 7 zeros. Okay, but we want either 5 zeros or 6 zeros. 5 zeros not possible, so 6 zeros will be possible only in these 5 cases. So you should attend the basic number system session, where I have discussed how to find out the number of consecutive zeros at the end of any factorial. Okay, and this method I have discussed in detail, so just go for the basic number system session. In fact, you should attend all the basic sessions before you come for this doubt solving sessions. So precisely the values k can assume is 5. AB is a 2-digit prime number such that one of its digit is 3. If the absolute difference between the digits of the number is not a factor of 2, then how many values can AB assume? It's like very simple. One of the digit is 3, so the number should be either from 30 to 39, or the second digit must be 3, right? So from 30 to 39 we just have a number 37, that is prime number. Okay, apart from 37 there is no other number which is prime between 30 to 39. Okay, and 37 is the correct answer, one of the correct number, because the difference between absolute difference between these two is not a factor of 2. Factor of 2, that means either 2 or 1. Okay, so that's one of the answer. After that we just can check 13, 23. 13 is not acceptable, it is not acceptable. 33 not acceptable. 43 not acceptable. 53 not acceptable. 63 is not a prime number. 73 is one of the option. 83 is one of the option. 93 is not prime. So we have 3 numbers. Okay, pretty simple. Now this problem. ABC is a 3-digit number where A, B and C are distinct single-digit number. If BC a 2-digit number is divisible by A, and A is between 5 to 8, then how many values can ABC assume? A is between 5 to 8, that means A is 6 or 7, right? Now we have 3-digit number ABC. If A is 6, I just have to see the values for BC, provided BC should be multiple of A, and none of the digits should be 6, because all the 3 digits are distinct, right? So see, instead of searching any shortcuts or anything, any equations, what you can do is directly count the numbers. That would be rather faster, right? So we have to see the multiples of 6. So 6 2s are 12, 6 3s are 18, 6 4s are 24, 6 5s are 30. 30 we cannot take, because in that case 3 0, C will be 0, so that's not natural number. Okay, so 30 cannot be taken. 36 even it cannot be taken, that means C will be 6 and A, B, C are distinct, because A is already 6, so C cannot be 6. So 36 is also eliminated. After that 42, 6 7s are 42, 48, 6 8s are 48, 6 9s are 54, 60 cannot be taken, 66 cannot be taken, then 72, 78, and then 84, 90 cannot be taken, 96 cannot be taken. Okay, so these are the when A is 6, these are the possible values of BC. When A is 7, let's see, it's 14, 7 3s are 21, 7 4s are 28, 7 5s are 35. We should not have 7 and 0. Okay, 7 5s are 35, 42, 49, 60, I'm sorry, 56, 63, then 70 we cannot take, 77 we cannot take, then it is 84, then 91, 98. Okay, so in all 4 3s are 4 and 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 values we have. Okay. Next is a number that can be expressed as the square as well as the cube of a natural number and has 13 factors is called Dante's number. What is the total number of Dante's number less than 10 is to 6? Okay, see, there are odd number of factors. That means the number should be perfect square, and it's already given that the number can be expressed as square and cube, right? I assume the number to be the possibility is a raised to 6 or a raised to 12. Right? If the number is a raised to 6, then the total number of factors will be 6 plus 1, that is 7. Okay, and if the number is a raised to 12, total number of factors will be 13. Okay, that is 12 plus 1. Number of factors, how do we find? That is power plus 1. Right? If the number is a raised to m into a raised to n, then the number of factors will be m plus 1 into n plus 1. Okay, so here the total number of factors we want to be 13. That means a number should be having s in like a raised to 12. Okay, now we have to find out the values for a for which a raised to 12 is less than equal to 10 raised to power 6. So we can have a as 1 because 1 raised to 12 will have, but if we take 1, a1 doesn't have 13 factors, right? So eliminate this, then we can take a is 2, so 2 raised to 12 it will have 13 factors. Okay, and it is less than 10 is to 6 also, because 2 raised to 10 it is 1024, then 2 and then 2 for 2048 and 4096, right? So a can take the value as 2, so one number is 2 raised to 12, that is Dante's number. Similarly we can have 3 raised to 12. And one more condition I just forgot. When we find out the number of factors, this number should be a prime number actually, right? So we though we cannot choose one because one is neither prime nor composite, right? So we have to choose from 2, 3, 5 and so on. Now 2, it's already there. 2 raised to 12 will be Dante's number. Now just 3 raised to 12. Now we just have to check whether 3 raised to 12 is less than 10 raised to power 6 or not. Now for that you should be able to find out the number of digits in 3 raised to 12, whether they are more than 10 raised to 6 or less than 10 raised to 6. Okay, so instead of making calculation for 3 raised to 12, since this question is I guess of cat level, so you must be knowing the basics of logarithm, right? The value of log 3 is actually 0.4771, right? So if I take log, I'll be getting 12 log 3, so it is 12 into 0.4771. So 12 into 0.4 something around, I'll be getting 5 or something, right? So if the number 5 is over there, that number of digits in this expression will be 6 only. Okay, so at max 3 raised to 12 will have digit 6, and in 10 raised to 6 we have 7 digits. So 3 raised to 12 will definitely be less than 10 raised to power 6. So we have two options, two numbers, that is 2 raised to 12 and 3 raised to 12, which are Dante's number. Okay, entire concept I have discussed in detail. If at all you are not clear for the first time, do revise it once again, because that's really important concept. Okay, I just make a quick recap. If you have to find out the number of factors of any number, just break that number into its prime factors, then multiply the power, add the 1 to its power and multiply, right? A raised to m into, suppose b raised to n, total number of factors will be m plus 1, where a and b should be prime number, that is the condition. So total number of factors will be m plus 1 into n plus 1, right? Here we want 13 factors, that means our number should be having the in a raised to 12 format, then only we can have 13 factors, right? So a raised to 12 will have 13 factors. Now we have to find out the value of a, possible values of a. So we can get the a raised to 12 less than 10 raised to 6. So we got 2 raised to 12 and 3 raised to 12. Both of them are less than 10 raised to power 6. So two values are possible. Apart from that, how do we calculate the number of digits in 3 raised to 12? I used logarithm over here. Basic logarithm values you should be knowing. Log 2 is 0.3010. Log 3 is 0.4771, log 5 is point something 6 or something around 7, which can take approximate idea. So basic logarithm values, if you keep them in your mind, it would be easier for you to calculate the number of digits, right? Sometimes it is really required. Okay, so I hope you are clear. and when you multiply it like this, right, 12.4, you'll be getting 5 point something something, right? So the total number of digits will be this number plus 1, this number plus 1. Okay, so that's an important point. Now see this, if one of the digits of z, a two-digit number, is added to square of other digit z is obtained, how many values of z are possible? I assume the two digits to be xy, right? One of the digits x is added to square of other digit, then z is obtained. Z is actually what? 10x plus y, because these are the digits x, y, so the number will be actually 10x plus y. The other choice we have is x square plus y. That means because one of digits is added to square of other digits, so maybe x plus y square or y plus x square, square of this plus this or square of this plus this, so we get z. So in that case it is 10x plus y. Y will be cancelled, x square will be 10x, that means either x is 0 or 10, so that is not possible because x should be a single digit number. Okay, so this is the only equation that is correct. So it is y square, or I can say y minus 1 is equal to 9x, right? Y square minus y is equal to 9x, that means y into y minus 1 is equal to 9x, right? Now these two are product of these two should be multiple of 9. So what we have option y minus 1 is equal to 9 into 8. Okay, because either y or y minus 1, one of them should be multiple of 9, then only the product will be multiple of 9. Okay, because these two are consecutive numbers, so we cannot have 3 and 6, something like that. So we just have one combination, that is 9 and 8. So y is equal to 9 and y minus 1 is equal to 8, right? So we have the number x is equal to 8 and y is equal to 9, that means we have the number as 89. You can verify it also. If you add 8 plus 9 square, you'll be getting 89. Okay, so there is single value possible for z. Now friends, this is one more problem from No Paper and Pen series. What is the remainder when 997, 996, 997, 996, 997, 996 is divided by 997? The first clue which I am getting from here is just look at the number. You'll be getting the combinations 997, 996, 997, 996, 997 and 996, right? Now we have discussed one thing various times. If I divide, suppose I have to divide a plus b by x and I have to find out the remainder, then I can do, what I can do is I find the remainder when a is divided by x, I find the remainder when b is divided by x, then if I add them I can get the overall remainder when a plus b is divided by x, right? So precisely remainder when a plus b is divided by x is equal to remainder when a is divided by x plus remainder when b is divided by x. The same funda I'll be using over here, right? One thing, that's first important thing. Now you must be wondering how I'm getting this addition sign, because I'm having a continuous numbers, continuous digits, so how I'm getting this addition sign, right? So the first concept is this. The second concept, it is, I just see 997 and how many zeros are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it is 997 into 10 raised to power 15 plus 996 into 10 raised to power then 15. Out of this 15, the 3 are deducted, so it's 10 raised to 12 plus 997 into 10 raised to power 9 till you'll be getting 996. Okay, 996, the last one. So this number can be converted to this, but that you don't have to write. That concept you must be knowing. Now once you know this concept and this concept, our problem or our solution starts, right? Now we don't have to use much paper and pen. In fact, if you don't want to use paper and pen, it would be really great. Okay, now this expression, if I divide by 997, right? I start from here, just I'm just not writing down this, it is just for the explanation. I just wish to explain the concept to you, that's why I have written down this. Otherwise it's not at all required. 997 and I have counted, these are 15 zeros after that, right? Now 997 into 10 raised to power 15. If I divide by 997, the remainder will be 0. So from here I'll be getting the remainder as 0, right? Now this is 996. Okay, 996 into 10 raised to power 12. Now 996 into 10 raised to power 12, or what I can see is 996 into 1000 raised to 4, right? Into 1000 raised to 4. Now when 996 is divided by 997, the remainder will be -1, right? And when 1000 raised to 4, 1000 is divided by 997, the remainder will be -3. So -3 raised to 4, because 1000 raised to 4. So -3 raised to 4, that is 81 only. Okay, so it is -1 into 81, so the final remainder is -81 from this. Again from here the remainder will be 0. Now again we have 996 into 1000 square, right? So 996, the remainder is -1, and into 1000 square the remainder will be 9, right? So it is -9. Okay, so from here we getting the remainder from -81. From here we'll be getting the remainder as -9, and from here we'll be getting the remainder as -1. Okay, now as I've already discussed, we have to add up all the remainders. So -81 -9, that is -90, and that is -1. So -91 is the remainder. If this expression is divided by 997, -91 is a remainder, but we want the remainder to be positive, so we'll deduct this 91 from 997, so we'll be getting 906 as the remainder. Okay, so how much paperwork is required? If you know this concept and this concept, this much work only is required, and after some practice even you don't have to write all these also. Okay, so that's pretty simple question, interesting and conceptual question. Just revise this portion once again if you are not clear for the first time. Friends, one more problem from No Paper Pen series, and once again I would like to remind you, you can also join this group. You just join us on Facebook to be part of this group. Now here this question, 102 raised to 100, this number is in decimal number system, and if it is converted into 9 system, then what will be the unit digit? Again, no paper and pen. Okay, here I'll be cheating. I'll be using paper and pen, but this paper and pen will be used to explain the concept, right? Once you are clear with the concept, obviously then there is no requirement of paper and pen. Okay, now when you convert a number from one system to another system, right? Now what happens? Suppose this is the number you wish to convert into another system. I just take simple example, 100 and maybe 100, right? I wish to convert 100, it is in decimal number system. I wish to convert into 9 number system. Now what I do is, I'll proceed in this manner, right? 9 and then we write down the remainder over here, right? So 9, 11 is 99, remainder is 1. Again, I'll divide this 11 by 9. 9, 1 is 9, and the remainder is 2, right? And finally, it cannot be divided any further, so I just take this as over here, right? So it is 1, 2, 1. That means 100 in decimal number system is equal to 121 in 9 system, right? When we write the number in other system, we take this as a number in 100 place. This must be the unit digit. This will be the unit digit, right? Because we write in this reverse manner, 1, 2, 1. Now here comes the concept. This unit digit is obtained from the first division, right? This unit digit is obtained from the first division. Okay, and what this unit digit is, it is nothing but when this number is divided by this number, so this is the remainder, right? 100 is divided by 9, 1 is the remainder, right? So this is the logic that we will be using over here, right? If instead of 100 it is 99, if 99 has to be converted to 9 number system, then what the unit digit will be 0, because the remainder is 0, right? So from the first division, whatever is the remainder we are getting, that will be the unit digit of this conversion, right? Precisely this is the concept. Now there is no need for paperwork. You can see this 102 raised to 100, right? How would you obtain the unit digit? If this is divided by 9, what will be the whatever will be the remainder, that will be the unit digit, right? Now just see carefully. 102, this is multiple of 3, right? Multiple of 3 raised to 100, that means it is definitely multiple of 9, right? 3 raised to 100, definitely, because for to be multiple of 9 we need 3 raised to 2 only, but it is much more than that, right? So 110 102 raised to 100, it is multiple of 9. So if you divide it by 9 to convert it into 9 number system, you will be getting the remainder in the first step as 0, because it is multiple of 9, right? So if you are getting the remainder as 0, so from this conversion decimal to 9, the unit digit will be nothing but 0. Okay, so wasn't it easy? Once again, I'll just go for a quick recap. When you wish to convert a number from one system to another system, suppose here we are converting the number from decimal number system to 9 number system, right? So this is the number that is written in decimal number system, and whichever in other system we wish to convert, we write the number over here, right? Now what is the first step? You divide this number by this, write down the quotient over here and write down the remainder over here. Keep on doing this till you get a number that is less than this divisor, you can say, right? Then write the number in reverse order to get the conversion, right? So 100 in decimal number system is nothing but 121 in 9 number system, right? Now this one is nothing but this one, right? That is a remainder obtained from the first division. Okay, so that's very easy. This way you can convert the number from one system to another. You can practice them as well. So this is the other way of asking the question, what is the remainder you will get if this expression is divided by 9, right? This is the other way of asking the same question. Okay, I hope you are clear. And yes, 102 raised to 100, since this is multiple of 9, you can just see and understand that it is multiple of 9. And once you see this number is multiple of 9, so it won't give any remainder if you divide, or what I can say, it will give the remainder as 0 if it is divided by 9. So for this you don't need any paper and pen, right?